Welcome to the Cryptonometron. Today I'm doing another ICO review. This one is on Lamden. Now what is Lamden? Well, it sounds like something out of Dickensian London, but it's not. It's an enterprise blockchain platform, and what that means is basically they've built an enterprise suite that you can build, or developers can build, Ethereum smart contracts, or a blockchain based on Ethereum smart contracts quickly and easily in a matter of minutes, in fact. So the Lamden Tau token will connect these new projects together, and they can interact also with other main chain cryptocurrencies. So let's watch their video and they'll explain it how it works.
Bob is the IT director of a Fortune 500 company. He wanted to know if blockchain could create efficiencies and improve security. The guys at the R&D department said they could make one in 1 to 2 years. It's a long, complicated, and expensive process, they informed him. There's no simple way to implement blockchain. He'd have to hire a massive team, and worst of all, there would be no good way to pass information between his blockchain and somebody else's. Bob was ready to forget about the whole blockchain thing when he heard about Lamden. Lamden is a robust ecosystem of development tools that turns blockchain concepts into enterprise-grade applications capable of seamless communication and value exchange with other blockchains. Using Saffron, Bob was able to create a secure blockchain based on Ethereum in less than 30 seconds. Then, to track shipments of his company's product, Bob used Flora to download pre-made smart contracts from the Smart Contract Hub and tweaked them to his needs. Finally, Bob used Saffron's integrated tools to deploy his new chain to enterprise-grade server infrastructure. Alice works for a company that creates raw goods for Bob's products. She uses the Lamden suite to deploy a blockchain that allows her to submit RFPs and fulfill proposals. Bob's company needed raw materials sourced from Alice's, but he thought that just like Bitcoin and Ethereum, their blockchains couldn't communicate. Using Clove, Alice easily connected the two blockchains for secure communication and seamless exchange of value. Then, to pay Alice for her raw materials, Bob used Lamden's Tau token, which allowed an exchange of value in the form of local currency or assets needed for local fulfillment. And from start to finish, the entire thing took less than a week. There are thousands of ways Lamden can help businesses, blockchain developers, and architects. Visit LAMDEN.io to learn more.
In their FAQ section, they list the competition as IOTA, Hyperledger, Lisk, Interledger, and Arc. However, there are many more, but they want to differentiate themselves against these other potential competitors. So on their FAQ page, they have a little competitive analysis, which we'll look at now. So how is Lamden different from IOTA? Well, they say IOTA is a directed acrylic graph to keep the size of the blockchain down. It still, however, is a primary mainnet crypto, and Lamden is a decentralized network of blockchains of all technology classes. So how is it different from Hyperledger? Well, Hyperledger requires you to build a chain from the ground up. Lamden has tools to get a blockchain spinning up quickly out of the box. How is it different from Lisk? Well, Lisk requires you to use their technology for the side chains, while Lamden allows you to use Lisk's technology, or in fact any other technology. And how is Lamden different from Interledger? Well, Interledger is a protocol that sets up intermediary ledgers in between chains to swap assets. They see that that adds more complexity to the system, when the goal should be to reduce the complexity. So they use payment channels and independent validation instead. And finally, how is Lamden different from the Arc? Well, there's a video, so let's watch it now. So the problems they want to solve with Lamden are high transaction fees, which are across the board, mainly Bitcoin at the moment, for example, suffering from network slowdown, cloggage, and high transaction fees as a result. The second problem is bloated chains. A lot of chains are now overwhelmed with the amount of information. 3, transactions per second, or the typical issue of scalability. 4, mining and resource efficiency. 5, integration and adoption, migration, upgrades and future proofing, and then knowledge barrier to building blockchains. Number 8, the time to develop and deploy a blockchain. If you're a company and you're building your own, it takes a long time to develop the technology and then deploy it. The customizability of blockchain tech, I'm not sure if that's a word, but there you go. And basically that is an issue because certain other blockchains that allow you to build on them aren't very customizable, but Lamden are going to address that issue. And then the other issue was the interoperability of private chains. So the Lamden project is an effort for them to create software development tools that increase the mass adoption of blockchain technology so infrastructure can revolutionize the market systems and cause realistic innovation within the markets. So they have built a developer suite. It's broken up into 3 sections: Saffron, Flora and Clove. And each add a layer towards the end goal of providing hyperfast blockchains for the developer to test, experiment and deploy across a network of other blockchain systems. So the target market is obviously businesses, and this article here outlines that the blockchain market will reach $9.6 billion in revenue by 2024. I think that's a very large underestimation in my own opinion. However, to break it down, the US North American blockchain market has the share of about 40% currently as of 2016, a couple of years ago, and the global blockchain market was valued at 216.1 million in 2016 and is projected to reach 9.6 billion by 2024. I would expect that to be a lot higher than that, to be honest with you. The private blockchain segment led the global blockchain market by holding nearly 70% of the total market share. So that will be very interesting to see how Lamden can make a mark for themselves on this market. It's a growing, emerging technology. It's brand new. They're in it at the right time, and I think they can really if they can get their teeth into it, they can certainly make a lot of money for not only the token holders, but the shareholders and for themselves as well. And a couple of years ago, the global blockchain market was valued. So Lamden is a suite of developer tools in the 3 different sections. We have Flora, which is the blockchain package manager. We have Saffron, which is the enterprise blockchain project generator. And then we have Clove, which is the cross-chain swap protocol. So the initial blockchain technology that they're implementing is, of course, Ethereum. And developers will be able to initialize their own chains, create accounts, mine blocks and deploy contracts in a sub-process instance of Geth, which is Ethereum's client written in Go. They hope in the future that Saffron will be able to support other arbitrary blockchain technologies such as Bitcoin, Litecoin, Zcash, Monero, Neo, Tezos, EOS, and even more, as long as they can support payment channels in a trustless fashion. And they say even novel blockchain technologies that adhere to the wrapper protocol will be supported, creating a completely customizable blockchain-to-blockchain interfacing network. That will be very interesting. So Saffron is the generator tool, and they believe instead of having a single mainnet which suffers from the problems that we discussed earlier, especially clogging up the blockchain and high fees, an organization will have their own blockchain for their own web app, for example, and this will allow them to have complete control over the tech, as well as dedicating their own computing resources to running that blockchain, rather than wasting the effort on a main chain. Furthermore, the gas, as in the Ethereum chain, will be eliminated, and the difficulty of the network can be turned down to a reasonable level, thus enabling practically free transactions across their app. And this makes it act more like a web server than a traditional chain, and then can be used to replace and upgrade the existing database structures internally. So we've seen how they're going to implement the blockchain technology and generate blockchains. So let's look at Flora, the decentralized package manager and public repository. So the purpose of Flora is to host a decentralized package repository, namespace system and discovery tools so that developers of Lamden chains can connect with other developers, play off each other's innovations and lead to a greater state of cryptocurrency. Clove is the anonymous router enabling the chain-to-chain interfacing. The main technological feat of this Lamden project is its cryptographic ledger and routing system that connects the private chains together. So instead of recreating an entirely new chain, instead shifting focus towards distributed private chains, only tied together by routing infrastructure, they can avoid blockchain bloat, the need to sync with the network before interacting with it, increasing transaction costs and a guarantee of future-proof platform that will last years regardless of the further improvements upon general blockchain technology. So just a last word on the tech there. Atomic swaps obviously will be able to be performed by the Clove, and the system they will use to validate the block transactions will be designated proof of stake rather than proof of work, etc. The project is its cryptographic system that connects the private. So token use, the token's called the Lamden Tau. It's an agnostic digital asset. And it will be the utility asset for the Flora that runs the blockchain applications. So it will serve as the universal asset of the platform itself. It will be available for trade by users of the system who want to use a currency that uses all private chains. Communication with the Tau chain will come out of the box for Lamden users, so they do not have to form independent relationships with other private chains to start transferring assets to one another. So then the developers can start to integrate a digital currency market and trade onto their blockchain apps immediately. They say by offering a native digital currency out the box to all Lamden users, Tau increases the adoption rate of private chains as more individuals are able to participate with the application coming from the Lamden community. Needless to say, the Tau will be available for trade on all the normal exchanges. As an ERC20 token, it will be tradable in Ether Delta and then possibly going on to the bigger exchanges in the near future. So here we are, token sale details. Total supply will be 500 million Tau. 70% of those will be up for sale during the pre-sale and the general crowd sale. Pre-sale is already complete. It was ended 4 weeks early as they sold out, so it was quite popular. 30% will be locked for 2 years. I assume they will be given to some of the team and advisory body, etc. But there is no breakdown that I could find. The hard cap for the crowd sale itself is relatively low at $10 million. And the soft cap is at $2.5 million, which I believe they've already made at the pre-sale, so there's no worries there. There is no minimum contribution amounts. You can contribute as little as you like, and that's good with the rising price of Ethereum at the moment. Contributions are in Ether only, and 1 Ether equals 9,713 Tau, which, let me just do another quick calculation because Ethereum is now almost at $900. So I've got my handy little calculator here. Just give me a second. That works out at around 9 cents per token, which is relatively low. And there was a 22% bonus at pre-sale. I believe it worked out around 11,800 Tau per Ether at pre-sale. So the general crowd sale is running at the moment, so if you do want to contribute, go to the website now before it runs out. And 1 Ether equals 9,700. There was an official bounty thread on Bitcoin Talk Forum. As you can see here, they were running a 5 Ether giveaway. They have some other bounty stuff as well. I'll post the link below. I'm not sure if it's still running at the moment. So you've got to join the Discord as a minimum requirement and then send a message in the bounty channel. So go ahead and do that if you want to find out whether it's still going. The crowd sale is actually going on at the moment, so it might be an idea to get this done quickly, as they'll probably sell out with the hard cap being fairly low. And 1 Ether equals 9,700. Okay, so this is the Lamden roadmap. So in month 1, the pre-sale began. The technical demonstration of Saffron, Flora and Clove is already done. They began the abstraction process of Saffron from the Ethereum tech to the other blockchains. The sandbox package manager was online, and they were strengthening the networking, business expansion, partnerships and awareness. Month 2, which we're in at the moment, the token sale has begun. The addition of the parity client to Saffron for proof of authority chains, the beginning of several enterprise case studies, planning stages and smart contract development. They've began setting up the foundation and plan of outreach, and they've Dockerized services for Saffron, Ethereum stabilized. So moving on to month 3, the token distribution will be completed. The Flora will be integrated with fault-tolerant data store close to alpha release, and Clove will be ready for integration into Saffron and Flora. Further abstraction of Saffron and end-to-end presentational demo of all 3 tools. So that's not far off, that's good. Software testing will begin in month 4. They will also plan for the alpha release at the end of that month. They will set up of hackathons and conventions, etc., and they'll continue all their development. The alpha launch will be in month 5. Bug bounty program will be coming as well. So that's interesting if you're a bug hunter. And the beginning of Saffron support for other chains, and then there will be an enterprise case study demo as well. Month 6, the enterprise case study will be finished. They will start the wrapper abstraction to support any other blockchain tech. Package manager will support dependencies, user acquisition plan established, documentation will be finalized and finished, and front-end interface to browse and interact with Lamden Suite, which will be a web app, will be introduced. Then they will deploy in month 9. The Lamden Tau will be deployed on high throughput blockchain. Lamden Tau migration event will happen, and second enterprise case study released, then an internal venture project outlined. And then month 12 will continue on with growth. That will be all software is stable, that'll be a version 1 release proper, and then protocol spec will be outlined, community passover plan completed, and enterprise stewardship, and then there will be major corporate partnerships in place, hopefully. So all looks good for the future. Let's now take a look at the Lamden team. Stuart Farmer is the chief executive and developer. Stuart says he comes from a background of tech, commercialization and launching version 1 apps for startups. He's learned the pain points and systems that prevent adoption and how to solve them. He brings this attitude to the complex world of crypto development. Now I'll pause there and I will say I've watched him on YouTube and he appears very competent and knowledgeable. Please go and watch the videos on YouTube. I didn't really dig into the tech as much as some guys would like. I don't really want to go through it and bore you. A lot of it is over my head, I'll be honest with you. So it's best if you are a budding developer and you're interested in that, please read through the white paper as usual. I always advise every possible potential investor or contributor to any ICO to read through the white paper thoroughly. It is very technical, but it gives you a good grasp of what they're actually trying to do. But again, watch the videos on YouTube. Stuart presents the videos and goes through the tech that they're using, and it's very, very interesting, and it's actually easier probably to watch rather than to pore over the documentation. But anyway, I digress. So back into the team. Nick Huber is the Chief of Ops. He's also featured in the videos as well, although he does a lot less talking than Stuart. Nick first entered the crypto space with Bitcoin 2012, Ethereum a year ago. Much like a lot of us here in the crypto space, he is a serial entrepreneur and he's an advisor to a number of blockchain firms already, including UbiQ Coin, I believe I pronounced that right, and Coin Health. Mario Hernandez, is the chief economist and developer, and Mario is pursuing a career in aerospace engineering. Very interesting. with a focus on reusable technologies and democratizing access to Earth's orbit. That's fascinating stuff. His deep mathematics and economy backgrounds aid in the design and distribution of crypto assets. He's a programmer by trade, and he also assists in smart contract development and asset management at Lamden. So three guys there at the top of the tree, all with different attributes, I would say, and contributions to the Lamden project. Then they have a fairly extensive advisory body down here. We have Christina Dolan, who's a MIT Media Lab alum. She's a member of Forbes Technology Council and vice chair of the MIT Enterprise Forum in New York. So that's a fair CV she's got there. Leonard Tan is in fintech. He's a software engineer at Visa, working on data projects and platform development. Gianluca Ruggiero is automotive. He's actually on VW's blockchain consortium, so they work on applying blockchain within the company. They've got Gopalan Mukundan, sorry for the bad pronunciation here, guys. He's in banking. He's got 30 years of IT experience, and he's now at Comerica. Noah D. Stone is a venture capitalist. He is a judge at Silicon Valley startup events. Vivek V, Internet of Things. Vivek is the founder of Silicon Valley's blockchain consortium, a startup advisor and entrepreneur. Right, okay. Oyediji, did I pronounce that right? I'm sorry if I didn't, mate. my names aren't my strongest point. He is a network planning engineer in the global implementation team at AT&T Mobility, Cisco certified. Then we have Echim, who is in real estate. He's head of processes at Daimler Real Estate. He runs the Berlin chapter of the International Blockchain Real Estate Association. And we have, lastly, but not least, we have John Worthern Jr., and he is an experienced entrepreneur and business strategist. He's founder of JD Create LLC, which is a mobile gaming startup. He's also involved with companies in the manufacturing and aerospace sector. So the team, very competent, very able to deliver, and a lot of experience, both in an advisory capacity and also in the core team themselves. He's a network planning engineer. I don't believe they have any partnerships as yet, but as we refer to the roadmap, we went through earlier, and they will be seeking corporate partners in the future once they have actually launched, and once the product is available and being used, then they will no doubt assuredly get the partnerships they're looking for. He's a network planning engineer. So they are on all the usual social media channels. They post quite frequently on Twitter. As you can see, they have 2,483 followers there. They're also on Telegram. They have 2,333 members on Telegram. And they have a Lamden blog on Medium as well with 158 followers. They're also on YouTube, as I mentioned. Please go and check out their channel. The videos are very worthwhile watching. They're also on Facebook and Reddit and GitHub as well, where you can download and look at all their open source software. Fantastic. So there's a reasonable community support for them. It's a network planning engineer. It's that time you've been waiting for, or just skip through to. I don't know. It's verdict time. And first off, as always, are the positives for this ICO. Let's have a look. Well, number one, I have to say it's technically excellent. They really have a project and a product that's brilliant and technically superb. As I said before, and I'll repeat again, go and watch the YouTube videos. They know what they're talking about. Read the white paper. It's all in there. Number two, they've got a working product already. They have demoed it already. They are in the process of building it further, but they have it already, and I'm pretty confident that they can deliver on their promises because of that. Number three, there's a low token price of around 9 cents for the tokens, which means there's a good room for growth with this ICO. I definitely think that 9 cents is cheap, even with a circulatory supply of, say, 300 million tokens. I think that's still quite low for this, this particular ICO. There is a low hard cap of 10 million US dollars, which will help to help in the growth of the tokens once they hit the exchanges. So that's always pleasing from an investment standpoint. Number 5, they have a very good team and advisory body. They all look competent in different fields. They can all contribute. So it's really enthusing to see a team that's got such experience. Number 6, they have a great product that has a real application for businesses. You know, the main selling point of this Lamden platform will be the fact that businesses can hire a couple of developers and actually build their own blockchain and interact with the Lamden blockchain, the main chain. And you know, that saves them so much money, and it also gives them access to a lot of the code that on the Flora platform that everybody else is programming. So it's a fantastic opportunity for businesses that want to get into blockchain. And number 7, it has a reasonable community support. It's not great, but they are out there. You know, people have been talking about them, I've noticed, especially on Reddit. And you know, they do try and keep their social media updated as well. Number 8, they have a very detailed roadmap and vision for this project. It looks like for a 12-month period since they started a couple of months ago, that they're going to really deliver on what they promise. The roadmap is very detailed and broken down in monthly sections with their plans. Number 9, they had a successful pre-sale that was ended early, so that's always good. It means that there's some traction behind this project. And number 10, I had to mention this, they have atomic swaps for their cross-chain payments, and this is important because if they can implement this successfully, it means so much more efficiency for their platform. It really does. So moving on to the negatives, and there weren't many for this ICO, but then there isn't much hype about it. I mean, you know, I see these other ICOs that have, you know, that are just a white paper ICO that are so hyped you know, on social media. It's unbelievable. You know, they're getting people to contribute. There's groups of people going into the pre-sale, and yet, you know, all they've got is a white paper. They don't have any technology or anything, and you know, there's no reason for us to believe that they can even implement. So it's strange that this has not much hype behind it, but you know, that's what it is. They don't have much hype, so that's a negative. Number 2 is a relatively high total token supply. Yeah, it's, you know, from an investment standpoint, it's not great to see 500 million tokens as a total supply, and possibly about 330 million going on to the exchanges. But hey, it is what it is. You know, given that the token cost is relatively low, there's still scope for growth. In number 3, ICO Details, I think, could be presented better and clearer. They could have had a more dedicated page on the website with charts and everything, and you know, rather than just sticking it in the corner of the FAQ page. And that always helps for people that are interested in getting involved with it, but really, you know, maybe they haven't done any ICOs before. So, you know, I thought that it could be thought through a little bit better and presented better as well. Number 4, and it's not their fault really, but the price of Ethereum is almost at $900 as I speak, and it probably will crack that and go up towards 1,000. The way things are going with the altcoins at the moment, they are absolutely smashing it, and you know, that's going to stop people from investing in ICOs, I think. And you know, it's not Lamden's fault, that's just the way it is. People will maybe hold on to their ether. And number 5, and last of all, is they are going up against some big guns. You know, the competition is fierce in this space. You know, they're going up against Aeon, IOTA. You know, it's a lot of big guns in the crypto space. So they're the new boys, and they want a piece of the action. They're going to have to be at their very best to get that action. So verdict time. Doing the Lamden walk. Oi! Yes, I like this ICO. I like the tech behind it. You know I'm one for my techie ICOs. I do like them. I like stuff with meat and potatoes. I don't like white papers. This is good. You know, I think it solves a real problem for businesses. So I think we've got to give it a chance. It does have some deficiencies, and that's why I'm giving it just 3.5 stars out of 5. You know, the deficiencies that I know maybe could have more community support, perhaps you know, a little bit of a more polished delivery on the ICO details, etc., and 1 or 2 other minor things you know, took points off the score. But all in all, I think it's a solid project. I think it's one for the longer term. If the developers can continue to build on what they've already done and deliver what they say they're going to do, I think this one could really be successful. So I'm going to put a little bit of money into this. I'm going to invest a little bit. I don't have a lot at the moment. I'm overwhelmed with alts at the moment. My bags are heavy. My bags are heavy. So I'll be putting what I can in this though, because I like it and I want to be part of it going forward, because I really think it could succeed. And it's important that you know, the cryptocurrency community supports projects like this. So this is a nice project. This is an interesting project, and if you're in at the ICO stage, you've got a stake in it, so to speak. Even if you just got the tokens, you know, you're not a shareholder, you've got the tokens, but you feel that you've got some sort of you know, a duty to keep up on proceedings and what they're doing, and it's always nice to get in these kind of projects, you know, at this early stage. So that being said, let me know what you think in the comments below. Please, if you did enjoy the video, like, subscribe, do all the usual nonsense, click on the bell, blah, 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 blah. And here comes the disclaimer. As ever, I'm not a professional financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This is just my opinion. Please do your own due diligence. Please do your own research. Please only invest what you can afford to lose, and invest with caution and wisdom, guys, yeah? So that's it for me today. Hope you enjoyed the review. As usual, thanks for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.